Can everyone see my screen?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So everyone, today's the info session for Engineering X, and we're going to talk a little bit about what the competition is and then what our plans are like in the future. Yeah. So Engineering X is like a structural competition and also has like a design portion and then a build portion. This year's rules haven't been like finalized yet. We're still trying to talk to UCLA about that. And it's kind of there's been like communication issues because they haven't replied to us and it's been 3 weeks, but hopefully they'll reply to us soon after finals. But Engineering X is we're basically tasked to design an obstacle course that's 100 feet long and can support 400 pounds of weight. So there's like a construction aspect and then a design aspect. So for our budget, I know last year it was $500, but $500 was like not enough personally for us. So this year when they're making the rules, we're gonna try to like raise the price because if you guys probably know, like wood is kind of expensive. So to build something that's 100 feet long for $500 is like not really possible. I know at the end of like towards the end of the competition last year, they did end up raising the budget. Do you remember how much, Jasmine?
I don't think it was a specific amount. I think they're like, if you're a little over, it's okay. Because
Yeah.
at UCLA, this used to be part of PSWC, PSWS now, and UCLA was hosting it last year. And I think they ran into the issue too. So they just hired the budget and said it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like for this part, what we had to do was we had to like reach out to like because last year we couldn't do like the construction aspect because of COVID. So what we did was, we theoretically got like invoices for materials that we needed. And then you have to make like a budget report, break down like what you bought, what you're spending your money on. And then like I don't know how it's gonna work this year with sponsorships because last year we did reach out to Simpson Strong Tie and they said they were willing to give us money, but because we were like a virtual competition, we didn't actually build anything, so we didn't actually take any money. But I'm sure like if need so, we can make like the budget through sponsorships and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Okay, and then this is some of the course guidelines. So the structure has to support at least like 400 pounds, and then there's like different components of the obstacle. So you can see like this is the opening obstacle, gap, bottleneck, gap, height, gap, final obstacle. And I think for one of them, like for one of the obstacles, it has to like be elevated up 10 feet off the ground. And then there has to be like the obstacles can't like all be on the floor. Like some of them have to like be elevated. Like I'll show you in the next slide what we did last year, but you can't just like place cones on the floor and then like tell them to run through it. Like it has to be like a structural, like to support 400 pounds.
So for the project itself, as you can see on like the right side, that is what we designed last year. It was like the first obstacle, and then we had to have a gap, and then the second obstacle, it's what we called like the bottleneck one, and then another gap, and then that was our elevated obstacle. I think the max would have to be like 4 feet high. Um, and then our last one, that was like a bear crawl one. Um, so, and what was required last year, again, there was a construction aspect, but we never got to it since we were in COVID. We still are, but I think they're allowing it this year. For the design report, that is what we worked on last year. It took us like, we started winter break and finished end of February. We had design, of course, the actual design of the project. We had the calculations, the drawings, and connection details. The physical course, it's like after we designed it and done all the calculations needed, the construction aspect, you have an hour to assemble it. It's like a pre-built and you just put it together day of. And the rules are like the players have to go through the course and show how to actually like demonstrate how to go through it. And again, like each obstacle has to be able to carry 400 pounds. Yeah. Can you go to the next slide, please? And then for this year's plans, we don't know too much about what's, no, it's not that we don't know, it's just we're still planning about the construction aspect to it, because we do plan on starting again winter break. That day will be determined with the PMs. But we're gonna start off with the design, and we're gonna have that go from winter until end of February, and then starting March until April, May. I think it's gonna be April though. We're gonna talk about with UCLA because I don't want it to go over our finals. Will be the construction aspect to it. For the design, we have our PM Patrick. He's here right now. And we're gonna try having 3 teams under that. There's going to be the design team, and for them, they're going to have to know how to use Revit, how to make like the 3D structures, and it be on like the sheets and stuff with different elevations. There's going to be the calculations portion. Those are going to be timber calculations. Either we want to have people who know how to use it or are willing to learn. I know I had to learn last year. And then the report aspect, I was personally report lead last year. And for those 3 categories, we want to have like a lead where someone's going to be in charge of putting all those things together. I think it's really necessary to have each one. For a report, I can explain what each one's going to have right now, but let me pull it up on the screen. For the design team, what's expected is to know like seismic design and how to build it on Revit and that stuff, of course. For calculations, what's expected is like the building assemblies, gravity, seismic, wind design, maybe RISA, and the connections. And then for the report, I know last year there was a proposal that had to be written out, the report layout of each section, and then all the different elevations and calculations for each one. I know we did all of the calculations, like formatted on MathCAD. Again, that'll be up to the report lead this year. And then the final report last year, we had to turn in by the 26th, but since this is like a more lenient competition and we have until April, I think that due date can be like a little extended. It's fine. The design portion is going to be virtual just because I think it's easier that way. Obviously, construction will not be. And throughout winter break, there's like no place to meet on school either. Again, like we're planning on starting it sometime in winter break, maybe like before the holidays, obviously, and then finish by February. And then the construction team, our lovely PM Eric is also here. That's gonna start in February, beginning March, all the way to April. I think that was pretty much it for this info session. Does anybody have any questions, or do the PMs want to say something?
We're so early on. I don't have a lot to say right now, other than I've just been tasked with raising this army of obstacle course builders, the likes of what the university system has never seen before. Well, I'm sure it'll be fun. So anybody that wants to be involved with building and learn some stuff, I think we'll try to do a training, and it should be good. So I think it'll be fun.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, we're kind of in that stage where we're basically doing finals next week. So I won't be able to stress about that instead. And then once we're done with that, we can work on the actual project. So far, we're waiting on the rules, but it's good. For anyone who has doubts on attending or participating, don't be afraid to try it. We're like basically encouraging everyone to try it. it's good experience. You'll learn about timber if you haven't already. And yeah,
Personally, last year when I worked on it, I got introduced to Revit. I know Revit's really important and relevant in the industry right now. I was exposed to timber. Not saying I'm the greatest at it. I'm still gonna take the course next semester, but um, it was interesting to see. And another good thing about this year is that last year was the first time it was ever being held. So there's an actual example to reference off of this year. And like, not to brag or anything, I'm bragging. We won last year. Cal Poly beat UCLA. We were first place. So it's pretty quality work. I think everyone will enjoy it and have a very good learning experience from it too. I personally had a lot of fun last semester. Not last semester, last year doing it.
I guess I had a question. What were some of the things that you not learned, like you mentioned, Yasmin, but like what, I mean, you also learned, what am I saying? I'm asking, what were some of the things that that had you had more foresight or more time, what were some improvements you could have done? Or like things, yeah, you could have improved on, I guess.
Well, last year, that won't be a problem this year. Last year, again, it was the first year it was ever held and done. So we didn't really have like a set schedule. It was just kind of done with like vibes, you know, like it's just like every week we would try to get most things done. And then for me as the report, like I didn't just stick to report. I kind of delved into different aspects of it too. Like I looked into like the calculations. I tried to play around with Revit. There will be like general meetings. I know we held general meetings like once a week, and then that was just to discuss everybody where everybody was. In the beginning, before the official teams were made, we the whole team like gave ideas of what the obstacles are going to be, who wants to see what we should construct. Like it was very general things until we came up with a design everyone was happy with, and then that took over with design. Of course there were tweaks just because, you know, nothing preliminary carries over right the same throughout the project, but the general idea was there. But again, I think last year what could have been improved on was definitely like timing and management, like time management. I don't think that should be an issue now just because we know what is expected and what everything is gonna be. So yeah, that's what I would answer that question with.
Okay, cool. If I can ask another question for Patrick and Eric, how many people, and I don't mean specifically to them, but I guess how many people are you looking for on a team? And if it's possible, if you can have the same member on both design and construction, or are you looking for only one person per team? Is I guess what I'm wondering as well.
So just from the preliminary discussions that we have, I think it's completely fine for you to be on both teams. You know, I don't know if there is ultimately any limit to the number of people that actually show up for the competition. I'm still not certain about that, and they might have to discuss with UCLA a little bit more whether there's a restriction there. But I do not think for the design and any prefabrication or any of that sort of stuff, I don't think there are any limitations to the number of people per the rules. And I wouldn't limit the number of people that want to help out with the construction. You know, I think as many people as we can get, it would go a little better. And I don't think we're going to run into the problem of too many people. So, Patrick, I don't know.
yeah. So to add, I would say there's not really a limit to any amount of people. The more people that participate, the better the product's probably going to be, because that'll give us more ideas for the design part, and we'll be much swifter with the calculations since there's quite a lot. The report's going to be a part where it's going to be written. So I think it's good to overlap. I'm not sure if we're going to build a hierarchy where it's the PM and then we'll trickle down to one person who leads like the team, and then reports to me. And then from there, everyone else will feed back to the team leads. Because usually I think that's a good approach. But yeah, you can participate on almost every team. That way you'll have like interdisciplinary.
Cool. Thanks, Patrick. Thank you, Eric. I think those are the questions I have for now. Thanks, guys.
Are the calculations done by hand? Yeah, pretty much. We also used Excel last year to make things easier so you don't have to constantly redo it over and over again. Also, I know last year they used RISA. That's the only part of the whole team or project last year I didn't put my hands on. That was mostly done because we had master's students work on it last year with us. That was done by them. I don't know if that's required this year. Again, we can talk to UCLA about it, but I don't know much about RISA, but I know it's like a program that calculates it too.
But also, I don't think it should be like impossible to do by hand because you guys will share like the project from last year and you guys can kind of reference it. Like it'll be easier in the sense that like we're not starting completely from scratch. Like we do have references from last year, like templates and stuff for Revit as well.
And also, what was it too? It's kind of like in class, you're giving like an example and you have to make a project. You can look at the example, see how certain things are done, like if it's at an angle or for like trusses, if stuff like that. It shouldn't be too bad.
So I'm gonna add on to that. I think one of the most important things or most beneficial things about Engineering X as opposed to some of the other competition teams is we kind of have like everyone or most of the people from last year still here. So we'll be referencing with them a lot more. So if you're like not really confident about something, we have someone to directly talk to.
Yeah. Is there any other questions? No. Okay.
Just one comment, if nobody, I mean, there's really good food at Centerpoint right now, so I want to check that out. It's really good.
If that's pretty much it, let me insert the Discord link so you guys can join it. More announcements are going to be said through the school and like through the emails and through CCAP as well, for updates on that. If that's it, we can end the meeting. That's okay. Yeah, okay. Then the meeting's officially over. Thanks everybody for coming. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Please join.
Thank you, guys. See you and Patrick and Peter in a bit.
Yes.
See you in class.
Hi, everyone.
Bye-bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye, Peter. Drive safe.
Peter. All right. See you.
Bye.
Patrick.